Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story is going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with managing editor Chris Irvine.
Hey.
And Chris, Democratic Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib is one of several congressional Democrats who have caused headaches for the party with the things that they've said and posted about Israel, but some Republicans are wanting to censure Tlaib. Tell us about why she's so controversial right now, and then how you think that the Democratic squad is causing these headaches.
Well, Rashida Tlaib is obviously of Palestinian descent, so she certainly has sympathies with the Palestinian cause, and I don't. She's entitled to that, of course. Mm-hmm. Where she's kind of run afoul, in particular, is the spread of misinformation in this war, in particular. We've talked about this hospital strike in Gaza. Mm-hmm. She was very, very quick to parrot the Hamas line that it was an Israeli strike that was responsible. Very quickly, Israel pushed back on that and said it came from the Gaza side. US and UK intelligence has since agrees with that sentiment as well. And for other members of the squad, like Ilhan Omar, who initially kind of posted the pro-Palestinian line there, Omar, to her credit, walked it back a bit, but Tlaib has been doubling down, tripling down on this anti-Israeli sentiment. She's really kind of been taking it to Joe Biden, and whenever she's confronted about it, she doesn't seem to want to hear the other side, which is pretty problematic. And I think we, in this war in particular, you have to kind of acknowledge who the sources are, and the Hamas which runs the Gaza Strip, obviously, therefore runs the health ministry there, is well known for inflating numbers and for pinning the blame on other people. And I find it really quite shocking that Tlaib can't at least acknowledge that there might be two sides to the story there. And she's clearly a headache for the Democratic side and the Biden administration, because they want to be seen to support Israel as much as they possibly can. And she seems to be this thorn in their side right now.
House Republicans are finally done with their leadership drama. They've now elected Speaker Mike Johnson. That's right. It only took 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so now they're moving on to, obviously, the business of funding the government, but the sort of potentially more complicated business of getting aid to Israel, because President Joe Biden has demanded that Israeli aid be tied to aid for Ukraine, which Republicans are about ready to give up on.
Sure.
How do you see that bill moving forward?
I think it was Tom Cotton that said it's dead in the water already. I think Representative Brian Mast said much the same thing. I can't see a way forward for tying the two together. There's so much sentiment, particularly in the Republican Party right now, that should the US continue to be funding Ukraine on such a huge level, and it feels like this $100 billion supplemental is designed to strong-arm the Ukraine funding through. Mm-hmm. I don't doubt that Israel needs the aid. I actually don't doubt that Ukraine needs the aid as well, but I think it's got to that point in the Ukraine-Russia war where there's so much money that's gone there, and a lot of it's been unaccountable. And I think Republicans are quite right to feel skittish about it. I know that presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy said an awful lot about this as well. He wants some accountability as to if this money is going anywhere, what's it going to be spent on. Mm-hmm. He said that on the Israeli side, but also he got a very good point that the US is suffering from a huge crippling national debt as well. That I'm all for America helping other countries in need, but sometimes you do have to look a bit inwards and kind of get your own books balanced at the same time.
Right. Finally, the Washington Examiner is running a series about the forgotten elections of 2023. People do forget that there are elections this year. Tell us about some of the ones that we're highlighting and what will be interesting to watch for a week and a half from now when it's election day.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of interesting ones coming up, actually. We kicked off with a piece on the Virginia elections.
Wow, that was a really good one.
That was by a great up-and-coming reporter who I forget the name, but yeah, you can Google it. It's fine. But no, you did a very nice job explaining kind of the stakes in particular for Glenn Youngkin, who many feel might have presidential aspirations of his own in 2020, if not 2024, then certainly 2028. And he is kind of looking for Virginia to turn fully red, and there's interesting connotations there. I think we'll be doing a piece a bit later down the line on how New Jersey Republicans think that they can turn the state red with the legislature there. There's lots of interesting ballot initiatives. I think Ohio is going to be a state that we're going to be looking at quite closely with regards to Ohio Issue 1 and Ohio Issue 2, which, again, you can read more in depth on washingtonexaminer.com. And then even stuff like ranked choice voting is making a comeback in Utah. There's plenty of mayoral races. So it's not like there's nothing happening this year. And there's 2 or 3 gubernatorial mansions up for grabs as well. All of it will play into how 2024 shapes out, because all the narrative is who's going to do better in the night. Is it going to be a good night for Democrats and Joe Biden? Is it going to be a good night for Republicans and probably Donald Trump? We'll see what happens, but it's going to give one side massive momentum for sure.
That's right. Maybe the red wave, we'll finally see it next week.
See.
We don't know. Well, Chris, thank you so much for being here today.
Sure.
You can get more reporting from Chris and the rest of the political team at washingtonexaminer.com.